At this point, I would like to make some general comments to focus a bit on our own relationship with our country. What does it mean to be Canadian? This could arguably be the best country in the world to live in, but how many take advantage, unrightfully, of the many good things it has to offer without contributing their fair share back into it? Are there too many bottom feeders of dubious motives, and those who think that this country owes them a living? How much do we care about our country? Has Canada reached a point where greed and corruption permeate society so deeply and widely that many of our core values of morality and ethics are seriously being eroded? Is there a developing trend of disconnect and disorientation of interrelations of different sorts within society? Is there a perception that foreigners do not think that Canadians are as nice as they used to be? Do we think that we're as nice as we used to be? Are there too many people of influence and power, political and or wealthy, that have the ability to dictate and misdirect the course that this country will take in the future? Or are we generally in good hands? Is our government a good example of a true democracy? It is quite apparent that there are those who think that the democratic system is unconditional. How often do politicians act in the best interest of Canada or their constituents than that of their own? Does the judicial system serve society fairly and appropriately? To what degree do we consider ourselves civilized society? Do we spend too much time, or do we spend too much of our life energy building up our own little empires without taking time to smell the roses and spend more time raising our kids properly? Are we living right? And how well do we have control of our own lives? How many Canadians have enough love for their country who would be willing, like the people of the armed forces, to lay down their lives for Canada for just causes? I would like to take this opportunity to pay tribute to the Canadian military, the police force, the firefighting personnel, and others, and to the fallen ones themselves who have lost their lives in the active duty in helping to make this world a better place to live in. Let's also remember the family and friends of these people. We should raise our glasses and give a toast to the politicians who are dedicated in serving their country's best interests first. In all fairness, putting aside all the cheap shots toward the politicians, we must acknowledge that there are, in fact, many good soldiers amongst their ranks. Is Canada emerging as the envy of the world and becoming the economic rock of Gibraltar, where it will provide guidance to the financial restructuring of Europe and elsewhere? By now, your minds might be set firmly as to whether this new Canadian flag proposal is a yay or a nay. Right now, I will make a few closing comments. Many Canadians have lived all or most of their lives with the present national flag, and I'm sure that it would be especially difficult for these people to entertain the thought of adopting a new national flag. How much do the younger generations care about things like this anyway? For Canada's sake, I hope they do. Is the unity of Canada a tenuous one? Does Canada have a death wish to self-destruct? Is it just a matter of time before Quebec leaves Canada? Will animosity between East and West ever cause a separation? The character and maturity of Canada might be measured by how well it holds itself together by creating win-win relationships all across the country. Remember the Three Musketeer motto? With different world events occurring, like China becoming an ever-increasingly predominant world power, the global financial crisis, concerns of climate change, third world poverty, etc., this is not a time for us to fragment, but instead pull together and stay intact. A true Canadian should embrace a national flag that has a meaningful and attractive design. It is imperative for citizens to understand the symbolic meaning of their national flag in order to fully appreciate it and decide in their own minds if it is appropriate. The emphasis of this whole presentation is about the inappropriateness of Canada's present national flag by what it symbolizes. Could Canada's limitless potential as a nation be more enhanced by a different flag than the present one? Is Canada's potential somewhat restricted by a flag that inadequately represents the country symbolically? If a truer national flag were to be adopted, would the saying, "The truth shall set you free," apply? This might, by having a psychological impact, allow Canada to express itself more freely and unleash its great potential with less inhibition. It is ironic that the former Liberal Prime Minister Lester Pearson, who was the driving force for adopting the present Canadian flag, made the following statement: "National symbols matter. They are the clearest message of national character." So this begs the question, what is Canada's national character and how can it best be represented on its flag? Pearson won the Nobel Peace Prize for being instrumental in averting a Third World War during the Suez Canal crisis in the 1950s. Rather paradoxically, at the beginning of the crisis, it was due to a symbol on Canada's flag, the red ensign, that Egypt initially refused to allow Canadian soldiers to participate in the peacekeeping force in the Suez Canal zone. This in turn was the impetus to change the design of the flag. Lester Pearson's words are as true now as they were then. Symbols do matter, and that is what this presentation is all about.
It's Canada Day, up Canada way on the first day of July. And we're shouting hooray up Canada way when the maple leaf flies high. When the silver jets from east to west go streaming through our sky. We'll be shouting hooray up Canada way when the great parade goes by. Oh Canada, standing tall together, we raise our hands and hail our flag, the maple leaf forever. It's Canada Day, up Canada way on the coast of Labrador. And we're shouting hooray up Canada way on the wide Pacific shore. People everywhere have a song to share on Canada's holiday. From Peely Island in the sunny south to the North Pole far away. Oh Canada, standing tall together, we raise our hands and hail our flag, the maple leaf forever. It's Canada Day, up Canada way when the long cold winter is done. And we're shouting hooray up Canada way for the great days yet to come, where maple trees grow maple leaves when the northern sun is high. We're Canadians and we're born